Probability lesson number 2 talks about estimating probabilities by collecting data. The notation for probability, the probability of an event occurring depends upon the number of occurrences of the event compared to the total number of outcomes, which may seem confusing, but as you'll see as we go along, that kind of makes sense. A student brought a very large jar of animal crackers to share with students in the class. Rather than count and sort all the different types of crackers, a student randomly chooses 20 of them and found the counts for the different types of animals. So the jar was much larger than his random sample, but instead of counting all of them, he decided to use a random sample. We'll talk more about random and that kind of stuff when we do statistics. So here's our chart of the number of each animal we found. Our total is 20. So our probability of picking a zebra, there was 3 of them out of 20 total. B, the probability of picking a monkey, that was 4 out of 20, which is 1/5. A lion, that's 2 out of 20, which is 1/10. A penguin or a camel, so penguin or a camel, that's a total of 4 out of 20, 1/5. And a rabbit, well, there wasn't any rabbits, so that's 0 out of 20, which is 0, which is an impossible event. Is there the same number of each animal cracker in the large jar? So in our very large jars, they're the same number of each animal cracker. We're going to say probably not. We can't know for certain unless we are actually to count all of them. But chances are there's not due to the random sample. If we pick another 20 animal crackers from the bigger jar, will the results be the same as above? It would not be certain to happen. So it doesn't mean it exactly has to happen like that. There's probably a good chance that we wouldn't get the exact same numbers. If there are 500 animal crackers in the jar, how many elephants are in the jar? Well, we know that 5 out of 20 were elephants of the sample we picked. And if we wanted to estimate how many out of 500, we could use a proportion to tell us about how many there would be. Excuse me. So we cross multiply 5 times 500, and that's going to be equal to 20 times x, cross multiply. So we want x by itself, so we divide this by 20. So 5 times 500 is 2,500 divided by 20. Cross out the 0. 250 divided by 2 is 125. So about 125 elephants would be in that large jar. So we're going to use a random sample to estimate a bigger sample. If we wanted to take a survey of North Tonawanda Middle School, we might just take a survey of a small part of each team, and then we can predict what would happen over the whole thing.